What's up, lovely people? Scott the Life Artist back with another banger. So in this video, I wanted to speak about my experience I had recently and spiritual perfectionism. I can't speak today, perfectionism. And that is something we all share. And maybe I'll just speak about perfectionism in general, not so much spiritual perfectionism, but the idea I'm getting at is that as humans, we will experience negative emotions or frequencies within our field that are not the most comfortable, right? And I had a tendency of being able to achieve like a pristine energy where everything was smooth sailing. But then a friend reminded me that you can't know pristine unless you experience something which isn't pristine. And as a result, that sat with me until I totally forgot about it. And then this weekend, I had an experience where I felt grumpy on Friday. Had a great time, then I felt grumpy. Or a frequency of grump came up. Maybe about 10%, 5% in the field. You know, it's hello, it's there. And I was a little frustrated that it was there, but I forgot about it. Saturday, had a good day. Sunday, came back, and the grump returned. And this time I was let down. Not so much let down, but a date didn't pan out. And then as a result, I had a combination of grumpiness come up and then like loneliness. But to be honest, both weren't severe, they weren't that strong. The loneliness was just typical. You have a subconscious expectation, 5 minutes of disappointment, then you move on. So I have a wonderful life, many things I can do. Play video games, go see friends, work, make these videos, work out, take a run, whatever it is. So many options, but 5 minutes of loneliness, disappointment, 5 minutes of grumpiness. And instead of just being like, I'm a human being, of course I will experience these things. Sometimes they seemingly come out of nowhere. Sometimes they're obvious where they come from, but you then have kind of two options. You either respond, which is just, I'm lonely, I can either be with it, be okay, or go out and meet someone, go see a friend, family member, whatever, or you just allow it, right? Or you ask yourself the question, why do I feel this? Why do I feel this? I wonder why, but in a more objective sense. And then you have to kind of be with the roughage in your vibration. You just kind of need to allow that not so comfortable frequency to be. You have to become comfortable in the uncomfortable. And if you don't, I've noticed if you don't, and I think this is the fall of many modern average Joe Blow men and women in our society, is that, and by the way, listen, if you have your arms and legs blown off, you've experienced brutal physical abuse, you're living in a war-torn country, I bow to you, I've got nothing to say. You feel how you want to feel. I don't really have a right to comment, but if you're like me and you're living in the Western world, England or US or something, what I've observed is that what we seem to do as human beings is basically feel an emotion like grumpiness and label it as wrong, like it shouldn't be there, resist it, or lonely. Before you know, you've took that emotion, you're trying to pull it apart, wrestle it, bury it, and then you get frustrated that you're grumpy, angry that you feel alone, depressed that you feel alone, depressed that you feel grumpy, you feel like you failed and you're not perfect. And that can snowball, and that's what happened for me. I started to snowball. 2 days later, I'm like, what the fuck happened? Right? I had to barrel roll out of bed and get on with things. And that seems to be what happens to a lot of people. This mental image we create of ego, of I feel this means I failed, right? Anger at the frustration, sad about the sadness, and it keeps snowballing. Before you know, I'm just a big fucking loser. And I was having a laugh with my friend yesterday in the sauna, speaking about how you have to swallow that pride. And where someone might have had a bad conversation for 5 minutes or a couple of seconds with someone, 15 years ago, and they held on to it and they built a massive story because they can't let it go. And you can't admit to yourself, actually, I'm being a bit stupid here, I'm being a bit silly. Because that's what happened to me. I was like, it can't be that simple. It can't be because I took grumpiness and snowballed it into infinity, or took sadness, snowballed it into infinity, right? Instead of just listening to music, being with people, inquiring, it was like, oh, there's something wrong, I'm broken, I'm broken again, it's all over. And to give that up means you have to swallow the pride and admit, like, I was wrong, like, this isn't really who I am. I'm kind of acting right now, because it is kind of an act, right? Because you ever notice someone can be like that, entitled or upset, angry, but really they're just kind of hungry. You give them some food, or hangry or whatever, right? You give them some food, suddenly they're like, woe is me, my life is over, I can't believe it, I'm a loser. Oh, a crumpet, ooh, what's on Netflix tonight? And suddenly their mood has changed. All that's gone, right? Because obviously, sometimes it's blazingly obvious, it's the simple things. And not making mountains out of molehills, right? But you're gonna get those molehills. You're gonna get those emotional dents or emotional, let's say damage, but emotional parts of your mansion, of your house that are a bit askew, which aren't the best rooms in the house, right? And by the way, I don't believe we're ever gonna feel this pristine bliss 100% all the time, because I just don't, you know? I think we're always gonna be unfinished. There's always gonna be something to do. Otherwise, what's the point being here? There's no contrast. You can't appreciate love. You can't appreciate beauty. You can't appreciate pristine or smooth sailing unless you experience some choppy waves. So you've got to be okay with the choppiness sometimes, right? Otherwise, there'll be a tendency to become brittle and narrow-minded, because unless the conditions around you or how you feel are exactly as you need them to be, you'll get sad, you'll think there's something wrong, and you'll give up and you won't take action, right? So you need to be a bit more hardy, a bit more tough-skinned, a bit more broader. Don't wait to feel perfect, because you'll be waiting, waiting. We're mostly waiting, right? Because the idea of perfection is this clean, absolutely spotless experience of yourself. But you may get that occasionally, but I don't think you want it all the time, right? So know that. And yeah, man, I suppose with spiritual, once you start throwing in spiritual concepts, spiritual perfectionism, right? If you guys are in the spiritual scene, that can be a dangerous trap, because now it's, I should be feeling blissful. I should be feeling these heightened experiences. I should be feeling connected to God and Source at all times. If I'm not, there's something wrong, right? Well, yeah, it's called integration. It's called doing the work, right? And like, I remember when I lived in Brighton many years ago, I was a student, and I would have these blissful experiences for months. And I thought I was the guru, I thought I was the shit, right? And we all are the shit, and we're nothing, but I thought I was the shit. But I was also emotionally quite weak. If my friends came into the room and I was listening to Eckhart Tolle, oh, I get embarrassed, right? Eckhart Tolle, the spiritual teacher, oh, they're gonna think I'm a freak. Now, I don't care, right? Listen to it, whatever. He's the best, he's not. Cool, man. What should we do? Should we eat lunch? I don't really care about people's opinions as much. And that came through accepting my emotions, accepting my humanity. Which is how you build that forgiveness and that empathy towards yourself and make you more whole. Like, have you ever met some spiritually perfect people? I probably need to make a comical video about this, but you meet some spiritually perfect people and it's like, hey, nice to meet you. Yeah, peace and love, man. But underneath, there's like anger, right? It's like, oh God. I don't have kids, but I have kids, so I ain't leaving them as babysitters. Hell no. You ain't seeing that happen on any day. You know? Because you sense a lack of integration, lack of honesty, or honoring of your emotions. And so watch out for that in yourself, because it's okay to be human. Why do you think we have things like rock and roll, or sad songs, or John Mayer, or fucking Guns N' Roses, right? Because we as humans need to connect with those emotions. And when you accept them, that's love, right? That's how you become more of a dragon. That's how you become more whole, become more real, get a richer sense of self and comedic value, right? That you can bring to the world, more compassion. But if you're just frustrated that you have these things, realize you're not alone, but realize you don't need to be frustrated at them or keep doubling down. Allow them to be and find out what they are, simply for the direct reason that they're there, right? And sometimes, guess what? Sometimes we ain't that intelligent. All you can do is let an emotion pass. You get an odd feeling, don't label it as wrong. Let it pass through you. Probably 90% of the time, 95% of the time, we don't really know what's going on in our unconscious or subconscious, it seems. Maybe we become more aware as we become more awake, but we do to some degree. But most of the time, at least for me right now, it's like certain things come in. Just need to allow them. Weird, creepy, crawly emotions, allow them to pass. Other ones, I'm like, oh, okay, I see how that occurred. But, you know. And in other ones, you get, like, you just kind of need to buckle up sometimes, right? Feel a bit of worry, feel a bit of angst, that's okay. You're not always gonna feel perfection. Like I say, it doesn't exist. You're always gonna feel some worry, some angst, to some degree. It may decrease, but you're always gonna feel it to some degree, right? Or stress, it's okay. Because who's the one witnessing it? Who's the one allowing it? Being a container for it. That's the key, right? And the more you identify with that container, the more you realize it's okay to be these energies and allow them to sit with you, right? And then they will change, they will dissolve. Things must. It's like a law, right? But what you resist persists. So know that, don't get down if you're down, right? In the same way, don't get too up when you're up sometimes, right? That can lead to other complications, but that's another video for another time. So anyway, guys, you're not perfect. Never am I. And yet in a weird way, we all fucking are. You know, limitations, ever expanding, unlimited, unfinished books that we all are perfect. Ever evolving, damaged individuals. So I love you guys, and I'll speak to you soon.